Hi guys, what's up? It's Kaylani here, and today I'm going to be breaking down a trade that I ended up taking on today, and I made about $2,000 from. But I wanted to explain to you guys the thought process of why I took a day trade rather than a swing trade and just what the setup was. But I just want to brag for a little bit. I'm up over $22,000 this month, $16,000 this week. I took one really big trade, which obviously contributed to most of the funds, but nonetheless, I'm going to break down this trade on AVGO and show you guys how I made $2,000. And this was over 100% returns. So let's get into it. All right, so this morning I was looking at AVGO as well as the rest of the market. I was actually hoping to get into some swing trades. Maybe if QQQ and SPY pushed up a little bit further, then I would get into some puts, whatever. But obviously, I had a change of heart and I decided to go long. So let's get into that. This morning, AVGO opened up lower than 340. So there was a gap down. Yesterday's close was at 340. So this is already an easy trade to me. Anytime there's a gap down or gap up, I know that it's going to get filled at some point. And right around the time that I entered, which was at like 7:55, QQQ and SPY started turning around. So I already kind of thought that the rest of the market would follow along and maybe we'll fill that gap from yesterday. So I bought 5 contracts at 7:55. Well, I think it was 7:55. Okay, I bought 5 contracts at 7:56 and they were $1.28. Then I waited until AVGO got a little bit higher, more towards where we opened at. Because if we break that level of where we open at, it usually signifies that the gap is going to get filled. So of course, what did I do as soon as we got up to the top, which is 335? Anything above 333 was going to be good entry, but 335 was really where I wanted to add on to my position. So I went ahead, bought 10 contracts. I know I started off light, and this is honestly how you should kind of go in. Start off with a couple contracts, and then once you get a better price, then you just start averaging in with your full size on. I mean, this trade, it wasn't full size, but it was a decent size to make good profit. So then I add on at around 8 o'clock, and I bought them at $1.10. Now, why did they drop even though the price went up? It's because they expire tomorrow. So these contracts are, very volatile. So I buy in at the price that I want, which is like 355. But like I said, anything lower than about 333, which is right here, would have been good entry for that gap fill up to 340. So just wait patiently. AVGO ends up pushing to about 337, 338. But as we started to reach a top, we got a lot of these weaker candles. Why did I just go dark? I don't know, but we got a lot of those weaker candles where the wicks are really high to the top, but the bodies are really low. So I just decided, let me just take the $2,000 and whatever. Then I went to the gym. But guys, moral of the story is any profit is a good profit. Hold on, let me go to my sell. Because my sell was at 920. Hold on. And this candle, so these came in around 910, 915. This is where I ended up selling ultimately around 337. I could have got at around 338, but then, they would have booked me for insider trading. Anyways, it says realized profit 1,700, but on my phone it said like 19. So whatever. Nonetheless, made about $2,000 on AVGO on this gap fill trade. And this is how easy gap fills are. Anybody could get in a gap fill. I've explained it multiple times on my channel that this is the best setup to get in. And yeah, there's just high probability. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Bye.